As-Salaam Alaikum and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Rise Magazine podcast. It is the visual and audible representation of the baddest magazine on the planet Earth, smashing records everywhere it goes, no matter if it's from Saudi Arabia to China or Japan. Rise Magazine is breaking worldwide records. This is the Rise Magazine podcast, your favorite program, happening every Wednesday, 5:30. As always, we have got to open up in prayer because everything we talk about in the Rise Magazine podcast is of such great importance that we never want to go into it without calling on God first. So at this time, please assume whatever position of prayer you find most comfortable, and we pray. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do worship, and do we seek. O Allah, guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, not the path upon the wrath has been brought down, nor those who go astray. Ameen. Allah, in the name of Allah, the Minister merciful, I witness that there is no God but Allah, Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you all in greeting words of peace of As-Salaam Alaikum. My name is Brother Hashim, and thank you all for listening to us today. We have an absolutely wonderful program set out for you today with Brother Joshua with the Ministry of Trade and Commerce. But before I go any further, I'm going to turn it over real quick. Oh, there we go. Praise God. Before I go any further, I'm going to briefly mention to all of you that you need to go to www.risemagazineco.com and get your Rise magazine, because this is the baddest magazine. The new July issue, June issue just came out. So be sure to go to www.risemagazineco.com and order your magazine. So with that, without any further ado, I want you all to get ready and buckle down, because each week we've been having a different representative from a different ministry within the 9 ministries. And to those of you who don't know what the 9 ministries are, the 9 ministries is a system set up by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that will allow us to provide different human resources to our people within and outside of the Nation of Islam to help us build a nation. And there are so many different ministries, and with each of the ministries, all of us can find a way to help our nation grow. So today, we have none other than the man himself, Brother Joshua X, coming with the Ministry of Trade and Commerce. So, Brother Joshua, As-Salaam Alaikum, please briefly introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about the Ministry of Trade and Commerce.
Wa alaikum salam. My name is Brother Joshua X. The Ministry of Trade and Commerce is responsible for the economic interests, entrepreneur interests, and overall benefit of the society in the Nation of Islam, but not only just the Nation of Islam, everybody who the Nation of Islam supports. So within the Ministry of Trade and Commerce, we work with the Ministry of Education to produce finance numbers, trade tariffs, things of that nature, to help encourage entrepreneurship and get you those statistics of things that is happening around the world. If we have the description from NOI.org, I'll go ahead and read the description. Okay, this is directly from NOI.org. The Ministry of Commerce is responsible for the growth and development of business and economic interests of the society. This ministry is dynamic in nature, relying on the input of consultants with experience and success in business and economics. It analyzes the economic state of the community and develops programs and policies for growth and stability on the basis of the needs of the community. It translates skills, talents, and interests of the community into viable revenue streams and works with the Ministry of Education to encourage entrepreneurship. So with that said, we are very dynamic in nature. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he used to buy everything in bulk. That's how he was able to get to us so cheap and at a better price than our competitors or people who would like to come into our community and sell to us. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he used to order fish by the boatload and bring it to us and deliver it to us at a way better affordable price, um, which made him a very prominent figure in the uh, fish business world. Not only fish, he had coats, grocery stores, a host of other things that is just not coming to my mind right now. But in a sense, that is what we do in the Ministry of Trade and Commerce.
As-Salaam Alaikum. Thank you so much for that explanation and description of the trade and commerce. The first question of today is how did you get involved with the Ministry of Trade and Commerce, and how does this play a role into your everyday life?
Yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. How did I get involved with the Ministry of Trade and Commerce? Well, it all started when we met. When I say we, first we were just a Southern regional ministry laboring team, and then we all met with Student Minister Abdul Sharrieff Muhammad. He all called us to a meeting, but Hashim sent out the message. He was like, "Hey, Student Regional Minister wants us to come to Atlanta, so we're going to Atlanta. We got to plan it out." So we planned it out, and we met, and he set us around his long table, and he handed out different sheets, which had the ministries on them. And he asked us, which one are you all interested in? And me, knowing who I am, I was interested in business, and I was interested in doing commerce. So I originally chose the Ministry of Trade and Commerce because that's what I was most interested in. So yes, ma'am. And thank you to Student Regional Minister Abdul Sharrieff Muhammad for putting the youth out front and doing that for us, taking the time out his day and every day to facilitate it for us.
Yes, sir. So how does trade and commerce play a role in your everyday life? I believe we had spoken to you previously on one of the earlier Rise Magazine podcasts, and you mentioned that you had a business going. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, ma'am. So my business, which started in college, I started with embroidery services. Then I started with the screen printing, designing and screen printing. And then I bought the machine, I bought the embroidery machine, and I bought the heat press machine. And I was doing it in my college dorm before they made it against the school policy, because everybody was running businesses out of their dorms during that time at Alabama A&M. People were doing hair, cutting hair. It was business mania during that time. But I was printing shirts and embroidering hats. So that's how I started in college. And then ultimately, my business grew from me just doing designing shirts and designing hats to actually doing design work in my field, which is mechanical engineering. Once I started in that, it's still going, but it's going slowly. The more experience that you get, the better. And then even when I was in college, I had a business doing photography. I didn't charge much. I already had a brand, which I'm leading up to in clothing. So I was doing photography, and all these things, all these businesses came from the fact that I had a brand. They were just sub branches of the brand that I was doing. So in photography, just little personal shoots. I would do headshots, anything that you needed that wasn't like huge, like a wedding or things like that. Then I would go ahead and do. Um, Now, as far as goods like food, water, and things like that, I never got into that aspect of the business world. But as far as services, uh, that's what I really put my time and effort into.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to pass it over to Brother Hashim to ask the next question. Thank you so much for those answers.
Praise be to
Thank you.
Allah. Big Josh. So you said something that kind of stuck out to me when you're answering Sister Taylor's question. You talked about how in your college, all of these guys, when we were making college, business out of their dorms, which is really a smart thing to do. And then just like the damn devil does, they banned it. And I thought to myself, why would you ban? So, college students are already broke. Why would you stop us from making, money out the dorm? And really, naturally, at Alabama A&M, was that primarily black college or?
Yes, sir. It's a HBCU.
Okay, so there you go, right? So they want that. So kind of leads up to my question: why is it that the enemy has always tried to financially suppress us? Why is that? Because you're trading commerce, so I think you're the man to answer that question. Why is it that the enemy has always tried to keep us financially depraved and financially illiterate? Why is that?
Yes, sir. That's a great question. The enemy is the enemy. We don't call him an enemy for no reason. He knows exactly what our end goal is, and he knows exactly what his end goal is. Our end goal is for the rise of the black man, the indigenous man, the brown man, everybody who's been oppressed by this systematic system of slavery. And what the enemy knows is that his time is up. His system has collapsed on himself. He cannot stop it from. He cannot stop it from saving itself. He's taken so much away from his own system that it's impossible to really do something about it. And the more people that know that is worse for his time that he's here because it just rushes it. It just rushes it. It just rushes the fall of his system. And so if they were to keep us financially unstable, it will cause them to have quote unquote time to basically get their stuff together. Because in our minds, and our people who want to rise, we have the mind to bring in a new system. We have ideas that we want to put to work that would not benefit them in the way that they have been being benefited from in their system. They feed off the poor and continue to feed the rich. And in their system, they have class people, as you know, poor, middle, and then rich, and then you have the upper echelon, which is the elite. They have classed these people and zoned them into different areas so they can basically keep dumping um, poor sustenance into bad communities, poor communities. And the reason why they want to keep doing this is because the more people that they end up destroying, the more that they can preserve their own system. And this is why the enemy wants to stop uh, our rise, is because we are literally representing the fall of his system. And if you think about it, if you really understand what I'm saying, is like, oh man, you guys sound bad. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. The case is that his system is not equitable. It doesn't provide justice. It doesn't serve justice. It leaves people cut and dry without food. and they give money to different areas of life that are not needed, like bullying other countries, stealing from other countries. Since we're on the topic of trade and commerce, um, uh, this particular country, they went and fought for oil, uh, killed all these people for oil, and now they're coming out with electric cars. It just doesn't make sense. And so that type of system is not fair, where one side benefits and the other doesn't. And so God is just upset, and he's just chosen, he's just decided to give the rise, all praises due to Allah, to the black man, who will bring in his system, who wants to see his system alive and well. So that is what we're dealing with today, on that scale of financial success.
Beautiful answer, Brother Joshua. I gotta give you a hand clap for that one. Brother Student Minister Joshua. Brother Student Minister Captain. Praise God. We don't have to talk about that. We talk about that. Praise God. All right. So Sister Taylor, I turn over to you. You have anything else?
I would just ask, like, what advice do you have for people getting started in entrepreneurship? You mentioned that a lot of collegiate students were involved in entrepreneurship. What advice do you have for somebody entering that field?
Yes, ma'am. Entrepreneurship, it is definitely not a joke. It's definitely not a joke, because you are in business for yourself, and that means you have to be disciplined. You have to know what you like and what you don't like, and know what you want and what you don't want. Excuse me. So I say that to say that you must know what you like doing. You must know what you like doing, because just like those college students who used to do hair and cut hair, that's because everybody liked having nice hair. Everybody likes having nice hair. So we can all relate. Like, hey, bro, I got the clippers. Let me go ahead and line you up right quick. Get you a nice line up. It's that's something that people who like hair and like nice cuts and looking nice can do. Um, let's say you like healing people, you can go into natural herb products, like COVID-19. We definitely need natural healers to continuously give us things that will boost our immunity, because we're not taking the vaccine. So, and COVID-19 is real. So we need natural remedies, natural substances, to become more immune to the virus. Um, let's say you like, and this is out of the air for most things, but you like video games. Most guys and girls today play video games. You can offer tips, and guides on how to play the video game better. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, you have to find something that you like doing, and then find something that can provide for people's needs. Um, like, nobody needs, I can't even say dirt, because people need dirt. It's just, people need air because there's oxygen tanks and things like that. There's a need for everything. There's a need for everything. You just have to find the specific people who need your stuff. And that's the ultimate goal of entrepreneurship, which is offering a service for somebody's needs.
Yes, sir. What barriers have you had in entrepreneurship? I'm in that journey myself, and I think one of the biggest barriers I have is kind of refining what my niche is, and then deciding what to prioritize, like what needs to come first. And so there's a little bit of like hustling on one end, because I just want to like get to the money, and like there's some things you can do like drop shipping that you can just get to the money, but it's not necessarily a passion. And then there's a bunch of things that I'm passionate about. What barriers have you had in your journey in entrepreneurship, whether it be refining your niche or your services, your products, or just prioritizing and being disciplined in general?
Yes, ma'am. A great question. Barriers in entrepreneurship are definitely going to come. This is when you go back and really understand yourself. Go back and understand yourself, um, because you have to ask yourself the question, why am I doing this? Why do I like doing this? And who benefits from this? So barriers that I've had myself is that people weren't buying. People weren't buying. And it's not because they weren't buying because they weren't interested. They weren't buying because I wasn't putting it out there. So that was one of my biggest barriers going up, because my degree is in engineering. Engineers don't typically engage people. Uh, so I had to get out of my comfort zone and just get in people's faces like, hey, I got this hat. And they'll look at it. And the design I had at the time was very enticing. And they'd be like, yeah, I like that. And they'll ask me, how much is it? And I'll tell them the price and things like that. But that was one of my barriers, actually going up to people and telling them like, hey, I have something. This is how much it is, and actually going out and selling it. It's kind of similar to final calls, selling final calls. Most people, when you have the final call, depending on who you are, brothers can really just stand on the corner and people flock to the brother because he has final calls. Then other brothers, they have to engage people, ask them how they're doing, and tell them about the paper. It's like that for everybody. And so that was one of my barriers, actually engaging people. Um, the minister said, and this is what I use in engineering, is that the answer to your problem is within the problem itself. So um, if you have a barrier, um, well, the answer to your problem is that you have a barrier and that you have to find it. Um, Now you have to ask yourself, okay, what is the roadblock in? What is stopping me from doing something? What is my goal? Is it sales? What is my goal? Is it to grow more? What is my goal? Is it to produce more? And most of the time, when you assess the situation like that, it can be either one, I'm not engaging people. Two, if I want growth, how am I scaling my business for growth? And then three, um, what type of products are you serving to the people? It all comes back to service. Basically, what entrepreneurship is service. It's nice that you got that pretty product. It's nice that you have that you have your business going and things like that. But if it doesn't do anything for anybody, then it's kind of hard to justify the purchase. A lot of the times when we do go into business, because entrepreneurship is so hot right now, especially amongst our people, is that we kind of get in our ego. And it's like, oh, I started a business. And next thing you know, it's good that you got the business set up and doing things, but you have to understand and realize, who does it actually benefit. Um, and we do have to work jobs for money, but that's the reason why they are jobs, because we're doing it for the money. And it may not be the most fruitful, beneficial thing, but it is something that we use to support other things. And your entrepreneurship journey should not be something that you just do for money, because you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. That's what we go get a job from the white man for. Because we have to work, we have to provide for ourselves. If you don't want to work a job for the white man, then I highly encourage you, find out what you like doing and then offer it as a service to somebody.
How are we able to contact the Ministry of Trade and Commerce if somebody wants to get involved with you all?
Yes, ma'am. If you'd like to contact the Ministry of Trade and Commerce, you can send us a DM on our Instagram page. It's at Ministry of Trade and Commerce. And if you'd like to get in contact with me personally, you can send me an email to my email account, joshuaxseals@gmail.com. And you can contact me from there.
Yes.
Praise be to. You about to say something else, Sister Taylor?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, praise be to Allah. Thank you so much, Sister Taylor. You had a lot of good questions. Praise be to Allah, Brother Joshua. You answered them all beautifully.
Praise be to Allah.
Yeah, man. Praise be to Allah. You really you channeled that inner student minister quite a bit. So I greatly enjoyed listening to you. It's been an absolutely wonderful, wonderful, wonderful episode of the Rise Magazine podcast with Brother Joshua here, representative Ministry of Trade and Commerce in the Southern region, and among other things. But it's an absolutely wonderful, wonderful episode today. I want to remind you all to go, as we did in the beginning, be sure to go to www.risemagazineco.com and get the latest issue of Rise Magazine. This is not the latest issue that I have right here in my hand, but those are some of the issues right there. You see we got some beautiful covers, and we have even more beautiful covers. There's about 3 new magazines out. Look at that. Beautiful covers. I mean, be sure to get you Rise Magazine. Rise Magazine is all over the planet Earth. It's in China, it's in Japan, it's in the Middle East, it's in Africa, it's in Europe. There's no way that Rise Magazine is good enough for the whole world, but somehow it's not good enough for you. All right, it's just not possible. So get you a Rise Magazine today. Also go to www.abdulsharrieff.com. Be sure to get all the books for our wonderful regional Southern minister here in the Southern region, Regional Minister Abdul Muhammad, a soldier in the movement of Christ. Down is not out. Down is only preparation for up. What's that right there? The Armistice Farrakhan's Divinely Connected to the Will. Be sure to get all the books by our wonderful regional minister. Every single one of them is an absolutely fantastic read. And lastly, if you are enjoying this program, which I know you are, otherwise you wouldn't be tuning in every single week, be sure to go to $Rise Magazine and donate. No matter what it is, big money, little money, in between money, donate some money, because money is what it takes to run a program. We're talking about trade and commerce, right? Well, we need your trade, we need your commerce to be able to continue running this program today. So please donate whatever you can to Rise Magazine. We greatly appreciate you. Love you. Keep watching. Keep supporting us. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close out as we open in prayer. Brother Joshua, thank you so much. Appreciate you, bro. You did an amazing job. Love you. We're going to go ahead and close. Yes, sir. And we're going to go ahead and close as we open in prayer. So at this time, please assume whatever position of prayer you find most comfortable. And we pray. In the name of Allah, the beneficent and merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the most merciful. Master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone we worship, and only do we seek. O Allah, guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, and not the path upon whom thy wrath has been brought down, nor those who go astray after hearing thy teachings. Ameen. Praise be to Allah. As-Salaam Alaikum.